He's a three-time NBA champion, critical member of one of the best teams of all time, former NBA Coach of the Year. Has done about all you could do at the NBA level. Byron Scott. Byron, welcome to the Odd Couple,
What's
brother.
up, Byron?
Brothers doing?
We are
doing good,
man. Good to have you on, and Happy New Year.
Thank you.
We wanted, obviously today is the 1 year anniversary of Kobe's death. You hear a lot of people talking about where they were, when it happened. It's one of those moments where you just remember where you were. What were you doing when you heard the news? And I mean, what thoughts were going through your mind, if you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind at all, man. Happy New Year's to you two brothers as well. It was a Sunday morning. I was dressed, sitting in front of the TV watching the PGA tournament. I can't remember which one it was, waiting on my wife to get dressed so we can go to church. And my wife, as she always does while she's getting dressed, she's always on her phone, So, if we got to be somewhere at 10, I always tell her 9:30 because I know we're going to be there
You
late.
already know, right.
I already know. So, but church, you know what time it started and everything. And I was like, baby, we got to go. And then all of a sudden I'm sitting there, man, and she starts screaming. And she's just screaming and saying, oh, my God. And I'm like, what? She said, Kobe just, died. I said, get out of here. Yeah, it might just nothing in me would make me or let me believe that. And then I started hearing all the stories that morning. I still was like, no, I don't believe it. All my boys start calling me. My phone is going off the hook. And we got in the car to go to church. And then TMZ broke the news. And, at the beginning it was, Rick Fox was in the helicopter with him. And, just so many different things. And I was just like, nah. So by the time we were about halfway to church, it was then it was everywhere. That it was true that Kobe and Gigi had passed away in a helicopter crash along with, the other passengers. And I turned around and went home. I can't go to church. I just need to go home. I stopped answering my phone. It was just so surreal to me, Chris, that, this young man who I had talked to probably about 3 weeks prior to that, just chopping it up, seeing how retirement was going, how life after retirement was going, and what else he was working on. And then to get that news, it was just devastating. And, for the next 4 or 5 days, I basically just stayed home. For me, it was like, I've never felt that bad. That was the worst feeling I've ever had. Or second worst, I should say, because the worst was when my mom passed. That was, it's on that level. There's somebody who I've known, since he was 17 years old. When he came into this league, got to know him, on a deeper level than most people would have ever gotten a chance to know him. And he was just a true friend. And that was something that I truly just, I don't, even to this day, my friendships with my closest friends that I grew up with, and I got 4 or 5 from high school, from elementary school. I take that. I don't take that for granted. I take it very serious, because you don't get friends like that. So, I mean, I can still picture myself, to be honest with you, sitting on the foot of the bed, looking at the tour, and my wife started screaming. I mean, it was, even though it's been a year, it seems, still like yesterday.
Wow. And it doesn't matter. Like when you lose somebody, it hurts. They could be 100 years old and it still would hurt. But when a guy, Byron, you lose a guy that young with so much life left and so many things that he was going to do in his second career and his children and his wife, that makes it even harder, doesn't it, when a guy's that young?
Oh, absolutely. And you guys have seen Kobe with his daughters, and you've seen him with Gigi and his family. I mean, he would bring Gigi to practice. And, after practice, she would go out and shoot, and he would be like, Coach, man, she's got me all in her. She's going to be a beast. And I would just sit there and listen to him and watch. And he was so proud of his girls, and he was so proud of Gigi because she had taken that basketball path like him, so he was just enjoying every minute of it. And I was just sitting there in awe of just, their relationship and how he just would go out on the court with her and just show her certain things. And then I'm looking at a video a month later and she's doing step backs and fallaways. And I'm like, oh, my God, and it was just amazing to watch him as a father because, again, you guys got to remember, I saw him at 17 years old when he was calling me Mr. Scott in Orlando, Florida at the NBA rookie transitional program that I was involved with, and he was on my team. And now all of a sudden I'm watching him with his daughter and the pride that he had, and the joy that he had with Gigi and just all his girls, just how just the family man that he was, how much he loved his girls. So it is so much harder when a guy has so much more life to live. And, Kobe, he was writing more things. I mean, he just won an Oscar. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For his basketball. I think I Love Basketball or something, a basketball diary or something like that. But,
Dear Basketball, yep.
Yeah, Dear Basketball. So, I mean, he was talking about writing it, writing more things. And the thing that used to kill me during our 2 years together, especially the last year, he would call me at 5 a.m. and I was like, man, I'm not up. I don't know why you even up.
Right.
Don't
call my phone.
Right. Yeah, I'm like, man.
Was he on his way to practice or something?
No, he was calling to see about practice. What we doing today, Coach? And I'm like, look, man, you know what? Today I had already told you yesterday, don't even come today. I don't need you in practice today. I'll see you tomorrow at the game. Stuff like that. I said, what are you doing up? I'm working. Yeah, I mean, he was always working, just working on new things that he had in his mind. And I would just sit there and shake my head like, this dude don't sleep. And then when he get to practice, we would talk about, some of the things that he was working on or some of his ideas. And he was always about knowledge, always about knowledge, man. So it's even more difficult, like you said, Rob, when somebody has so much more to give and so much more life to live.
Byron Scott, 3-time NBA champion, joining the Odd Couple. Now, you had such a unique situation with Kobe. You played with him his first year in the league as a rookie, and you coached him his last year in the league. That's great. And I've talked about how, just as a reporter, seeing the growth of Kobe from 17 to 38 or whatever he was when he retired. How did you see, you saw this guy grow up and become a man. So what was that like for you? Like, what was he like as a rookie, 17-year-old, to when you saw him his last year as a grown man?
As a rookie, Chris, the one thing I always told, people that were very close to me when they asked about him, I said, man, at 17, 18 years old, he was the most mature 17, 18-year-olds I ever seen because he had already in his mind what he wanted to accomplish. He had already set that goal. He already got in his mind what he had to do to get it. So in his mind, he had to forget about a whole lot of stuff like 17-year-olds and 18-year-olds do, which is partying and having fun. He was like, I can't do that. I never seen a 17, 18-year-old so mature and so driven. And sitting down and talking to him, during practice or after practice, about the game and about, what if a guy does this? What should I do? He was just one of those guys that was never afraid to ask questions either. And to watch him at 37, his last game when he would come in the locker room and sometimes I would be in the back and he'd come behind me and just give me a big old bear hug and be like, how you doing, Coach? Everything good? I said, yeah, I'm good. You all right? You ready to go? He'd give me one of those, am I ready to go? And I was like, yeah, well, I forgot who I'm asking. I forgot who I'm asking. But
what's crazy? I just want to squeeze this in and just get your thoughts on this. Out of all the things Kobe Bryant accomplished, the thing that stands out the most to me, and I know this sounds crazy, is when he put up the air balls his rookie year in the playoff game. Against, what was that, Utah they were playing? Against Utah. Shaq was on that team.
I was on that team.
Byron, you know what I'm saying? Like that stands out because guys who, first of all, one air ball is enough. Most guys would roll into a shell. I thought to myself, who is this guy with Shaq on his team taking the last shot and putting up two air balls at the end of a game?
Yeah.
Does that make sense to that stands out to me?
Oh, Rod, that makes so much sense because, that's one of two or three things to stand out. I mean, his rookie year, because I was on that team, and I was playing in that playoff game and hurt my wrist, and Dale Harris had to play Kobe, when we went to Utah because I couldn't play.
Right.
And so I felt so bad because I didn't think he was ready at that time. And obviously, he wasn't, but he thought he was. I mean, like you said, he took two shots with the game on the line when you got Big Shaq down there,
right.
an all-star. And they both were air balls. And I mean, when I say air balls, they wasn't close.
No.
And they were the kind of shots, and that was the kind of moment that can make or break a guy. I mean, it could just, your career could just go real south real quick when you shoot air balls in that type of environment and in those conditions with the game on the line. But he came back the next year with a vengeance. And that, one of the reasons during practice and all the stuff and all the times that we talked, and I did that interview a long time ago, and I said, mark my words, this guy is going to be unbelievable, because I knew he had no fear, and that was just going to make him stronger. And it's one of three things that stick out for me, with him. And, that's the first one, obviously. The second one is the 60-point game that he had, which was unbelievable, his last game in his career. And the third thing is just, all the times that we had that we just was just talk. It wasn't one particular time. It was just all the times that we had where we just talked. We reminisced, or we talked about certain things, or he would call me and say, Coach, I need to talk to you about this. Those are memories that I'll never forget.
All right, that's the great Byron Scott reminiscing
Byron.
about Kobe
Thank you
Bryant.
so much.
Thank you. Yes, great stories. We appreciate
you.
it.
Man, I love you guys anytime.